Hello students, hope you all are fine. In last video, we have studied classification of algae and we have seen the different classes such as chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. We have also studied their characteristic. Now this is the life cycle of algae. So the life cycle starts with the sporophyte, which is 2N, means it is a diploid. This sporophyte undergoes meiosis and produces spores, which are n number, means half number, or haploid spores. Now haploid spores undergo mitosis and produces male gametophyte and the female gametophyte. Now male gametophyte will produce male gametes and female gametophyte will produce female gametes. This both the gamete will fertilize and 2N that during fertilization the spores become diploid. Okay, after fertilization it forms zygote, which is again a diploid, and then zygote germinates and undergo mitosis to produce a sporophyte. So this is the life cycle of algae. Now we will study another group of plants known as bryophytes. Now bryophytes, you can see they are found in shady areas. You can see on the rocks, on the trees, on the ground, and different shapes of the bryophyte. This is Markensia, this is Rixia, this is Funaria, this is Anthoceros. Okay, so these are the some pictures of bryophytes plants. Now characteristic of bryophyte. Mosses and liverworts commonly growing in moist shaded areas in the hills. Now mosses and liverworts are the two groups of bryophytes. Bryophytes are also called amphibians of plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil but are dependent on water for sexual reproduction. Okay, so they are called as amphibians of plant kingdom because they require water for sexual reproduction. They can grow on the soil also and on the trees also. That's why terrestrial, they are found in terrestrial as well in water. That's why they are called as the amphibians of plant kingdom. Now they occur in damp, humid and shaded localities. You can see where there is a thick forest. For example, if you go to Amboli, you will find these mosses growing on the trees. They play an important role in plant succession on bare rock soil. Plant succession means the formation of plants. Okay, जेन्ना bare rocks असता, bare rocks म्हणजे जेचेर vegetation नसता, so त्यांना पयली हांगासर bryophytes grow जाता. Slowly small plants, herbaceous plants grow जातले, मागीर ferns grow जातले, slowly small trees, small plants grow जातली. That is called as the shrubs and all, you will find them. So this is called as the plant succession on the bare rock. Now it is the thallus-like and prostrate or erect. So you can say this is the thallus-like, or it can be prostrate or erect. So उबो असता तेन्ना आमी ताका erect म्हणटा आणि जेन्ना तो जमनी वयल्यान असता ताका आमी thallus-like or prostrate. And attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. So तांच्या पोनाचे जर तुम्ही उखलून पळयशात जाल्यार rhizoid like structure, the roots like structure, ताका rhizoids म्हणटा. They lack true roots, stem or leaves. They may possess root-like, leaf-like and stem-like structure. तांच्या true roots नसता, तांकां true stem नसता and true leaves नसता. They have leaf-like, stem-like and roots-like structure. So if you see the leaf, they do not have proper midrib, they do not have vascular bundles in the midribs as well as in the stem and as well as in the roots. That's why they are called as the leaf-like, roots-like structure. The main plant body of the bryophyte is haploid. Okay, it produces gamete, hence it is called as the gametophyte. So this plant body is haploid. When it produces gamete, that state is called as the gametophyte. Now the sex organs in bryophytes are multicellular. The male sex organ is called antheridium. They produce biflagellated antherozoid. Now this is the structure of antheridium and it is a male sex organ. Okay? And they produces antherozoid. So when we say antherozoid, ज्यांना हे स्पोर्स आणि antheridium ज्यांना स्पोर्स रिलीज करतले आणि त्यांना दोन फ्लॅजेल असतात, they are biflagellated. We call it as an antherozoid. The female sex organ is called as archegonium. It is a flag shape and produces single egg. You can see here this structure is called as the archegonium. You can see it is a flag shape and it produces single egg. एकूच egg भितर असता. The antherozoids are released into water where they come in contact with archegonium. So antherozoid with the help of water, they move with the help of water and come in contact with the archegonium. Okay, that's why तांकां sexual reproduction खातीर water जाय पडटा. And antherozoid fuses with the egg to produce the zygote. आणि हो antherozoid जेन्ना एका बरोबर fuses जाता, fertilization जाता, त्या स्ट्रक्चराक आमी मागीर zygote म्हणटा. They produce a multicellular body called a sporophyte. So after zygote they form a sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free living but attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and derives nutrition from it. Okay, so for sporophyte is not free living but it is attached to the gametophyte and derives nutrition from it. तिचे nutrition सगळे gametophyte कडल्यान तो घेता. Some cells of the sporophyte undergo reduction division, that is meiosis, to produce haploid spores. Okay, so these cells sporophyte undergo reduction division, that is the meiosis, to produce haploid spore. These spores germinate to produce gametophyte. So these spores will germinate to produce gametophyte. Now economic importance of bryophyte. Mosses provide food for herbaceous mammals, birds and other animals. Okay, this mosses provides food for mammals. These mosses form, they are the food for the birds, animals. Then sphagnum provide peat that have long been used as a fuel and is a packaging material for transshipment of living material because of their capacity to hold water. Sphagnum is also a moss and he moss transport purpose खातीर use करता for the packaging of the material. It is also used as a fuel. त्याचे blocks कशे करता आणि ते जळोवपा खातीर यूज करता fuel and packaging material for transshipment. जेन्ना शिपांसून the things, goods are transported or the live materials transported, तेन्ना त्यांचे पॅकेजिंगा बरोबर ही sphagnum moss घालता because it has capacity to hold water. आणि तुम्ही थोडे मॉसेस पळयले स्ट्रॉबेरीच्या पोना थोडी प्लांट्स घालता, सो ताका म्हणटा मॉसेस. दोज आर ऑल्सो मॉसेस, सो दॅट स्ट्रॉबेरी बरी फ्रेश उरपाक जाय म्हणून. Mosses along with lichens are the first organism to colonize rock and hence are of great ecological importance. Mosses, lichens बरोबर, lichens you know that what are lichens now. So तांच्या बरोबर ते कितें करता, colonize रॉक्साचे colonization, that is plant growth form करपा खातीर help करता. They decompose rocks making the substrate suitable for the growth of higher plant. So slowly while growing, small soil particles from the rocks are released, so that helps in decomposing the rock. Since mosses form dense mats on soil, they reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. कारण तुम्ही पळयला आसतले ग्राउंडाचेर मॉसेस फूल कवर करता ड्युरींग रेनी सीजन and as a result जेन्ना पावस जोरान पडटा तेन्ना soil erosion जायना. Now this is the example of sphagnum moss. ही सगळ्यान व्हडली moss You can see this is the antherial branch and these are the branches, archegonial branch hanga female sex organ present istale, and this is the funaria. Now funaria is divided into three parts, that is the leafy shoot and the capsule consists of three parts, that is the food, seta and capsule. Okay, the sporophyte. So this funaria has two parts, that is the gametophyte stage and the sporophytic stage. Gametophytic stage will have gametes, that is male and female gametes. Sporophyte is differentiated into three parts, that is food, seta and capsule. Now these bryophytes are classified into two groups, that is liverwort and mosses. Now we'll study the characteristic of liverwort. Liverwort grows in moist, shady habitats such as bank of streams, marshy ground, damp soil, bark of trees, and deep in the woods. So they are found on this layer. Liverwort is thalloid. Okay, you can see thalloid. Thalloid means they are found on the substrate of on the ground. They are not erect. म्हणजे असे उभे रावना ते. So त्या कंडिशनाक कितें म्हणटा thalloid. They do not have proper structure असे उभे रावपा खातीर. So तांकां thalloid म्हणटा. जमनी वयल्यान फ्लॅट आसता. Example is Markensia. Now this plant is Markensia. The thallus is dorsiventral and closely attached to the substrate. Okay, डॉर्सी म्हणजे दोन सरफेस आसा ताका, एक डॉर्सिव्हेंट्रल जी पोंची सरफेस आसा ताका वेंट्रल सरफेस म्हणटा आनी वयली आसा ताका डॉर्सल सरफेस म्हणटा. सो डॉर्सिव्हेंट्रल जी वेंट्रल सरफेस आसा ती क्लोजली अटॅच टू द सबस्ट्रेट आसता. द लिफी मेंबर्स हॅव टायनी लीफ लायक appendages in two rows on the stem like structure. Asexual reproduction by fragmentation of the thalli. So if this thalli cuts, it will form a new plant. Okay, or by specialized structure called as the gymi, singular gyma. Now this is the gymi cup. Gymi cup you can see on the thallus, and these are present in the Markensia plant. Now you can see in this gymi cup like structure there are the spores. These spores will germinate into a new plant. Gymi are green in color. They are a multicellular asexual bud which develop in small receptacle called as the gyma cup. याका gyma cup म्हणतात. So these are located on the thalli. The gymi become detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individual. हे cup जे आसा ते detach जाता म्हणजे separate जाता ह्या thallus पासून and it will grow into a new individual. Sexual reproduction is male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or different thalli. थोड्या प्लांट्सांनी सेम थॅलसाचे मेल अँड फिमेल सेक्स ऑर्गन प्रोड्यूस करता, थोड्यांचे डिफरंट थॅलसाचे प्रोड्यूस करता. द स्पोरोफायट इज डिफरंशिएट इंटू फूड, सिटा अँड कॅप्सूल. जो स्पोरोफायट आसा जे स्पोर प्रोड्यूस करता तो फूड, सिटा अँड कॅप्सूलान डिफरंशिएट करता. After meiosis, spores are produced within the capsule. These spores germinate to form free-living gametophyte. Or spores germinate jata into free-living gametophyte. Now this is the example of Markensia and this is Rixia. Now next group of bryophytes are mosses. This moss is the predominant stage of the life cycle of moss is the gametophyte. Gametophytic is the dominant stage which consists of two stages again. The first stage is protonema stage and the second stage is the leafy stage. Now in protonema stage, this stage develops directly from a spore. It is a creeping structure, green in color, branch and frequently filamentous stage. Okay, so protonema stage directly spore germinate जातलो protonema. Protonema is a creeping ground वयल्यान ते वयता. It is green in color, branches असता, you can see here branches and filamentous, ताका filamentous म्हणटा. So this is the protonema. Now second stage is the leafy stage. Now then protonema will develop into a leafy stage which will have the leaves. Okay, which develop from the secondary protonema is a lateral bud. This is the second bud growth. The bud will form into a leafy stem. They consist of upright असता slender axis bearing spirally arranged leaves and त्याचे leaves कसे असतात spiral arranged असते alternate. They are attached to the soil through multicellular and branch rhizoid. So soilaचे ते multicellular branch rhizoids attached असतात. This stage bears the sex organ. हे stage sex organ present असता. Now reproduction, again reproduction, there are two types, vegetative reproduction and sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation and budding in the secondary protonema. Now you can see this is the bud, secondary protonema. Sexual reproduction, the sex organ is antheridia and archegonia are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. After fertilization, the zygote develop into sporophyte consisting of 4 seta and capsule. The capsule contains spores. Spores are formed after meiosis. So meiosis will result into the formation of the spore. Now example of mosses are Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. I will show you the example of mosses. So I've already shown you now this is the moss Funaria. So you can see here the gametes are present here. So male branch separate असता, female branch separate असता. So they will produce gamete. Okay. So after gametophyte, the second stage is sporophyte. So sporophyte will develop from female gametophyte, and it consists of 3 parts. That is the food which is embedded in the leaves. This is the seta and the capsule. Capsule meiosis undergo करता आणि spores produce करता. These spores are released. ज्यांना त्याच्या हांगासर एक कॅलिप्ट्रा रिजन असता, त्या कॅलिप्ट्रा पडटा आणि स्पोर्स बाहेर सरता. स्पोर्स परत जर्मिनेट जाता आणि प्रायमरी प्रोटोनिमा फॉर्म जातले, सेकंडरी प्रोटोनिमा and leafy stage. Now this is the life cycle of bryophyte. So you can see here, this is the sporophyte state where you can see spores. First it will form the gametophyte, that is the male gametophyte, and this is the female gametophyte. Male gametophyte will produce anthridiophore, female gametophyte will produce archegoniophore. This is archegoniophore wherein female sex organs are present. The anthridiophore will produce this anthridium, this structure anthridium, and female archegoniophore will produce the archegonium. This is flax like structure. The female archegonium will produce egg and the anthridium will produce sperm. This will fertilize both sperms and egg sperms will come in contact with the egg, and the fertilization process will take, which will form the zygote. Then undergo meiosis and they will produce mature sporophyte plant. This mature sporophyte again they will form this sporophytic plant. Again they will produce the gametophyte, again sporophyte. So this is called the alternation of cycle. So this is about the bryophyte. So next video will study the charidophyte groups.